everyone, Tac1421 here. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon TCG Online Gameplay Commentary. Today I have another Night March gameplay. Night March is one of my favorite decks now. It was introduced in the new Fan Forces set, which we kind of talked about briefly in the last episode. We kind of showcased Night March a little bit in the last episode. Now I want to get into more detail on it and kind of talk about more of the variants of Night March, which one I think is the best, and kind of give reasons why I don't like playing the other ones, and maybe give you some more incentive to play this version of the deck and kind of what to expect. And we'll talk about different strengths and weaknesses of these different variants of the deck and why, again, I think this one is the best. Well, we are playing against a Blastoise deck, which is kind of cool to see because you don't really see Blastoise that much anymore, just because it's not as strong of a deck. It lost a lot of components to the deck that made it really strong with the new rotation. It's still a pretty good deck in expanded and extended, whatever you want to call it, but I think there's other better decks out there nowadays, so that's kind of why you don't see Blastoise being played too much. And also Genesect is out there. It's a very strong deck and has a very, very good matchup against Blastoise, so that's another reason why you don't see it used very often. But nonetheless, we are playing against Blastoise. It's kind of cool to see. My opponent did not get a Squirtle out there, which is always good when you're playing against Blastoise. You don't want to see the Squirtles. You don't want to see the Blastoise, because that's kind of where the deck kind of takes off, is when those Blastoise come into play. So it's kind of nice to see that my opponent did not get the Blastoise out there, but don't really have that strong of a hand myself at the start of this gameplay. And you'll see I kind of draw dead a little bit at the very start of this one, but we try our best to kind of get things rolling here, and I'm going to go ahead and get the Leafeon. Leafeon is put in this deck to kind of counteract water decks and water Pokemon, such as Blastoise. Keldeo obviously is the big one. Seismitoad is another big one. But it's a one-of in the deck, and it's nice to kind of see that my tech came into play. It's always nice when you have a tech card and it comes into play and does well for you in a game. So you'll see Leafeon at the very early stage of this game, and it'll kind of transition into the other Pokemon of the deck. And we also get Lampit, all 4 Lampits in the discard pile. I think this is like turn 2 or 3, I forget. But that's always nice when you get all the Lampits in the discard pile early on. And, Night March Pokemon. But yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about the other versions of Night March. The version that I think is the most popular at the moment, and the one that you probably will see the most of, at least for the first kind of couple of weeks or months, that while people are trying to figure things out with this Night March deck and new cards in the set, while people are trying to figure it out online, if you will, is this Mew-EX variant of the deck. And I tried this out, and I've played against it a lot too, and I don't... There's a reasons why I don't like it, and we'll get into that, but basically the idea around it is use Dimensional Valley, which I use in this deck anyways, and you put the Mew-EXs in there instead of things like Flareon and the EV evolutions and all that stuff. So you throw the 4 or 3 Mew-EXs in there, and essentially what you want to do is you want to get the Joltix on the bench, you want to get your Night March Pokemon in the discard pile like normal, and you want to be hitting you'll want to use 1 Psychic Energy, and you want to be hitting for a lot of damage by using Joltix Night March attack, but you're using it with Mew, because Mew-EX, if you remember, if you've never seen it before, Mew-EX has an attack where it allows you to use any Pokemon's attack that's in play, that's on the field, as your own, as long as you have the energy for it. Since Joltix attack is for 2 colorless energy, if you have the Dimensional Valley in play, remember that card is a Stadium, I have it in play right now, it allows you to, with Psychic Pokemon, it allows you to use attacks for 1 less colorless. So you can use Joltix attack for 1 single Psychic Energy. And when you want to do the same thing, you want to get a lot of Night March Pokemon in the discard pile, and essentially you're just hitting for a lot of damage with 1 energy. The problem with this is you're giving up 2 prizes when you get knocked out, and Mew-EX has 120 HP, it has a weakness to Psychic, it's very easily knocked out by a lot of Pokemon out there, a lot of different moves, a lot of different decks can easily dish out 120 HP without really breaking a sweat. So that's why I don't like it. You're giving up 2 prizes really, really easily. So that's kind of the downfall of the deck. We'll go ahead and get into the other versions of the deck, which is a Celebi EX variant of the deck. Essentially, Celebi EX allows you to use moves from previous evolutions. It has an ability, and you can pair this ability by putting things in the deck like Gorgeist, I think it's called, the evolution of Pumpkaboo, the stage 1 of Pumpkaboo. I believe it's Gorgeist. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but essentially what Gorgeist does, it has an ability. If you attach a grass energy to Gorgeist, your HP becomes 200. So this is really nice. You can throw like a Virizion EX in the deck, so you can't be hit by special conditions. You have this huge HP of 200, and then you can use the Night March attack as your own. But the problem with this is that, say that Celebi gets knocked out really easily, it gets like catchered up, it gets in some way either gets catchered, Lysandra, up to the active, it gets knocked out really easily because it has 110 or 120 HP, somewhere around there. It gives up 2 prizes, and if your Celebi EX gets knocked out, you don't have another one. If you can't get another one somehow, say you're playing 1 or 2, possibly 2 or 3, and you can't find them in your deck anywhere, then you're kind of stuck with a Gorgeist with 200 HP that can't really can't really attack very well because you're relying on Pumpkaboo's attack. You're not really attacking with the Gorgeist's attack. So that's kind of where that runs into problems. That's why I don't like it too much. It's giving up a bunch of prizes, and you know, it's really easy to knock out things with 110, 120 HP. And it's nice that your Joltix and your Pumpkaboo only has 30 and 60 HP respectively, but you're only giving up 1 prize. And you're getting a lot of prizes in return. You're either getting the same amount of prizes, or you're getting 2 prizes, 2 to 1. So that's why I like this version of the deck. And also with Celebi EX, you might see the use of Lampit more. You can see the final evolution there, which I'm blanking out on the name. But essentially, you can use different versions of different cards that evolve from like Joltik and Lampit and Pumpkaboo is kind of the idea of that second variant with Celebi EX. And that's kind of the least played, I believe, and people have kind of figured out that's probably not the best way to play the deck, but you'll still see it out there occasionally. And that brings me to the third and kind of final version of the deck. Again, maybe through time we might see different versions of the deck that might become more popular, might be better than this version, but this is the third version that I know of, and this is the version that I like the best, and that's what I'm going to be playing in kind of the gameplays. Maybe I'll showcase other versions of the deck later, and we'll kind of see why it might struggle and might not do as well as this version. But this version of the deck, you're going to be playing the EV Evolutions, you're going to be playing Flareon, and the reason I like this is because with Flareon, it does 20 and then plus 10 more for every Pokemon in this card pile. This not only gives you a good matchup against Virizion Genesect and other grass-type decks like maybe Heracross, Mega Heracross, but it also hits other things for a good amount of damage late game because you're trying to get Pokemon in this card pile, so it's kind of the same concept as this Night March attackers. Also, you play things like Leafeon, you can play other EV Evolutions, and you're only giving up 1 prize, and they're only getting you're only giving up 1 prize, and hopefully you're knocking out these EXs like I did in this gameplay and getting 2 prizes. So I really like this version of Night March. I'll probably come out with another gameplay soon enough, showcasing maybe other versions of Night March, maybe another versions of this, or another gameplay of this version of Night March. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay. I won pretty convincingly against this Blastoise deck. It took him a while to get the Blastoise set up, but again, he's only taking 1 prize. I'm taking 2 with hitting out his EXs, his Black Kyurem and stuff like that, and his Keldeos. So I do hope you guys enjoyed. Again, I'm going to be coming out with more gameplays hopefully very soon. I have some Dialga EX. I really like the Dialga EX, so I want to showcase that. I also have some Donphan gameplays, some Crobat gameplays, a lot of fun stuff coming your guys' way on my channel. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, and also hit that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, if you want to give me some cards, be sure to PM me and help out the channel. That'd be very, very nice as well. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see everyone next time. Peace.
You did it, Psyduck! Psyduck!